All right. So, dear devotees, we are here. We're 4 minutes in. Let's begin with Mini Vandanam. And Mini Vandanam, yes. So we can Vandeham, Omagyan, Vanchakalpa, and Namo Maha Vadanyaya, Panchatattva Hare Krishna. Let us begin in an auspicious way. So together. Start me off. 3, 2, 1. Vandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Yutapad Kamalan, Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam, Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam, Sadvaitam Savadutam, Parijana Sahitan, Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Maha Varanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tije Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dandavats, dear devotees and friends who are with us live and who will be with us indeed in the recorded version, and who are, yes, with our Ukraine devotees. Electricity problems again. With the Ukraine devotees, we gave some homework, because homework is always good, and we were on the theme of doing everything for Krishna, and included there was doing what is the most important thing that we all have to do for Krishna. Eat in our eating process to honor Prasādam. So my desktop on my computer is literally the Sharira Avidyajal prayer, but the word by word. And we were just going through this during our saying Sharira Avidyajal at lunchtime. And Muktinath Prabhu is here. And Muktinath Prabhu, he said, I think this was number 2 of the Back to Basics course. And I said, oh yes, you're quite right. We learnt the word by word. And so it takes a student to remind us that this is covered in our Back to Basics course. And Muktinath Prabhu said, yes, I knew the word by word, but we've forgotten now. So literally my desktop is the Sharira Avidyajal, because I am also revisiting the words. And then if you think, oh yes, how can it be? How foolish can a person be? Well, I'm a good example of how foolish a person can be, how we can forget what we go through. But we could put out an open challenge and ask about the words that are in Sharira Avidyajal and see how we all do, because I certainly appreciate revisiting the word by word. So maybe we can all today have a little word by word refresh of Sharira Avidyajal Jadendriya Tahe Kal Jive Fele Vishaya Sagare Tar Madhye Jivayati Lobha Moy Sudurmati Takejita Katina Samsare. Then, little easier, Krishna, Boro, Doya Moy, especially for Chinmoy Defu, then this is much easier. Krishna, Boro, Doya Moy. kore bare jiva join. Sva prasad anna dilo bhai. Sayanamrita kao or pao, both because they have their meaning. Radha Krishna guna gao. Preme dako chaitanya nitai. All right. Now, I know you're all frantically going through your notes, just in case you get asked, okay, what are the meaning of each of these word by word? But let us go through them word by word, because it, as a refresher, hopefully everything stays in to our mind more. So, okay, Jayadev connecting to audio. And with a click, it says he's connected. Jayadev Prabhu. Then good to see you, good to have you here. But I think you were with us anyway with Chintamani. I think you're probably just getting us in stereo.
Dandavat, Dandavat, Dandavat.
Dandavat Jayadev Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Welcome. We're just going through the bowing down. Yes. We're just going through the word by word of Sharirar Avidyajar. Also, when we ask devotees, tell us your favorite song, then sometimes they say, yes, Sharirar Avidyajar Tadindriya Sahita. Okay, I wonder why. So, let us just go through quickly. So, we all know, now I've got another screen in front of me. Oh, so many things. Okay, the body. Okay, first of all, in the version in Gitavali, it begins with Bhaire. Sorry, I just have to change my sitting position because there's a mosquito in this room and it's going for my head and my feet. 1 second. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha.
Maharaj, you can teach the mosquito the song for honoring Prasad.
Well, I don't know how much this is Prasādam, that's the only thing. Oh, how can I sit here? I'm trying to sit like a yogi.
Perfect statements, perfect answers.
Ho, 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 ho. I'm trying to cover up my feet. One naughty mosquito has not seen the no entry sign. All right, we're getting a bit better. Okay, I think we're successful. Hare Krishna. All right, Bhaire just means, oh brother, that is in the original form. Now, Sharira Avidya Jam. So the body, Sharira, where do we get the body? Sevarupa. Oh, Sevarupa in Mexico entered the room. And she's with us in 2 places. Sevarupa Didi is also with us on Facebook, so very good. Hare Krishna, welcome. And Bhagavan Prabhu is with us. Sevarupa Didi in Mexico. Dandavat, Dandavat.
Dandavat, Dandavat to all devotees.
Very, very welcome, Dandavat. And Rukmini Didi also just joined us too. Jai Rukmini Didi, Dandavat.
Dandavat to all the devotees. Dandavat.
All right, Rukmini, just to get you, as they say, up to speed. Then we are going word by word to remind ourselves the meaning of the favorite song of many devotees. Sharira Avidya Jadendriya Taheka, etc. So let's restart a little bit. So the material body, the Sharira, and then Sharira, Avidya. I think most of us know Avidya. Avidya means the ignorant, opposite of Vidya. Vidyalaya is often the name given to a college in India. the place of learning. So the opposite of learning, vidya is learning, avidya is ignorance. And jal means a trap. So sharira avidya jal. So trap. And then we know about the jara. And jara means mundane, the static things, the mundane things. So that often give them the non-moving also, but the mundane material. So jara, indriya, the senses, and then tahe, that just means this, and kal, time. Something happened. Okay. Time. So at this time. So, oh brothers, this material body, in the translation I have here, is a lump of ignorance. Okay. And the senses are a network of paths to death. Anyway, let's go, keep on going, then we get the whole thing. So jive, so in the version I have in front here, it's got a B, but jiva, the soul. And remember, it's in Bengali, so V and B are the same, essentially. Jiva. So jive, the soul, fele, throws, throw. And this we hear in Bengal a lot. And then vishaya. Vishaya is the material senses. So the material senses, material enjoyment. Senses are indriya, but enjoyment, vishaya. And somebody is known as a vishayi, who is a sense enjoyer, just an enjoyer. So material enjoyment, vishayi. So vishaya. Sagare. Well, we had a sannyasi named Bhakti Ananda Sagar, and Sagar means ocean, and Ananda means joy. A very beautiful name. And Sagar, so Sagar is ocean. Also where the Ganges joins the ocean is called Ganga Sagar. There's a famous festival takes place there every year. So Sagar, ocean. Jive, fele, vishaya, sagare. The soul is thrown into the mundane enjoyment ocean. So sharira, avidya, jal, and jara, the material things, jara, indriya, jarendriya, material senses, tahe, kal. At this time, the jiva has been thrown into the enjoying ocean. Sharira, avidya, jal, the trap, jal. Jara, endriya, tahe, kal. Jive, fele, vishaya, sagare. Then tarmaje, and of this tar, then madje, in the middle of that, jiva ati, and this is J-I-H-W, jiva ati. And jiva is the tongue, and ati means very. And then we've got ati lobhamoy, and lobhamoy sudurmati. So lobha we hear is greedy. So like the embodiment of greed, lobhamoy sudurmati, wicked, sudurmati. So lobhamoy sudurmati. So tare majje, amongst the material senses, jiva, the tongue, ati lobhamoy sudurmati, very greedy and wicked. Ati lobhamoy sudurmati, ati, very lobhamoy, ati sudurmati, wicked. Then we come to our take, which is that. Take, jeta, to control. And I try to remember that when we're on Govardhan Parikram, there's a place called Jatipur. And that is the Pur town of the Jatis, the sense control, the sannyasi town, which is its original kind of identity. So Take Jeta, Take that, Jeta to control, then Kotina Samsare, and Kotina is a word I keep forgetting, but Kotina means difficult. And then Samsare, Samsar, Samsare, so in the material world. So we all know about Samsara, Samsara, Dava, Nava, Vida, Loka. Okay, so hopefully, if we put it all together, we'll pretty much have the first verse, which is more difficult than the second verse. So, Haire, oh brothers, Sharira avidya Jara mundane, Indriya, Tahe kal, this time. Jive fele Bishaya, Sagore, Tarmaje Jivaya, Ati Lobhamoy Sudurmati, Take Jeta Katina Samsare. Okay. Everybody comfortable? Everybody's got every word? Everyone's comfortable nodding every word. Everyone's being very Buddhist, sitting very still, not showing any emotion. Hello in Thailand, the little girl. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, please check the chat.
Please check the chat. Please check the chat. What happened in the chat? And the paragraph before the song states, even the beginning stage. Okay, so Praneshri Devirasi has put in the chat. Oh, there's something above too. Chintamani Devirasi, Dandavats to everyone. It says so here. Like Raghunath Das Goswami giving Dandavats to a lot, I forget the actual number, thousands of devotees every day. So Chintamani Devirasi giving Dandavats to everyone trying. And Kumkum, back in a moment, greeting some guests. Okay, wonderful. And Praneshwari to everyone. And the paragraph before the song says. So Praneshwari Devi, please read what you've written there.
Is just before the song, Sharira Vidyajal, it says, even the beginning stage of devotional service called sadhana bhakti, regulatory practice, is so powerful that it brings one to the platform of anatta nivritti, where one becomes free from unwanted sinful habits and gains relief from the pressure of the tongue, belly, and genitals. Thus, one is delivered from the bondage of material addiction and can no longer be cheated by the allurements of the material energy. As it is said, all that glitters is not gold. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur recommends that we consider the following song written by his father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the song that you just explained.
Wonderful. That's the perfect introduction to this Sharira Vidyajal song. And really we see coming back again and again, the importance of Prasādam. And in our back to basics number 2, maybe in Muktinath's remembrance, at least it was early if it wasn't number 2. It could have been number 1 or number 3. It was very early in our back to basics that really the basis is coming down to the holy name, Sadhu Sangha Seva Prasādam. And okay, yes, Sharanagati, the essentials, but this is right there with the essentials, honoring Prasādam. And just yesterday itself, we were hearing, as we do, we listen to Guru Maharaj, we listen to Gurudev in the temple room with the devotees. And as we do yesterday, then we heard Guru Maharaj talking about Professor Sanyal, Professor Sanyal's brother. And in the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Professor Sanyal's brother challenging him, saying, you're doing just the same as we are doing. And Professor Sanyal saying, no, we are not. The devotees look like they're doing the same as the Vishayi, as we've got here, as the material sense enjoyers. But they are not doing the same thing. What appears to be the same, actually it is opposite. The devotees are not eating. And he said, yes, I saw they're eating in the temple. Then Professor Sanyal said, no, they're not eating. They're honoring Prasad. And this by this by this. I don't know whether his brother ever became a devotee, Professor Sanyal's brother. But Guru Maharaj quoted that, and he was clearly a witness to this. Hare Krishna. And Paunamasi Didi, very welcome, Dandavat Pranam. She's sending her Dandavat to all the devotees. She's on Facebook. Jai, welcome, welcome to be with us. So we are just relishing Prasādam, relishing the relevance of Prasādam. And I think on Facebook, right, that's why on Facebook it's very good we read these things, because what's in the chat box, they are not able to see, I believe. Hare Krishna. So now all of us present, who've been here for the last few minutes at least, they know the meaning of Sharira Avidya Jodendriya Tahe Kal. Jiva, the soul, Fele Vishaya Shagare. Then tar madhye jiva ati lobhamoy sudurmati. Toke jeta katina. That's sometimes a difficult word for me. Why I keep forgetting, I do not know. But difficult word for me, but difficult is what it means. So, katina, difficult, samsare. So, so jeta katina. So very difficult to control the jeta. So now I need to just come back because I got myself lost. Yeah, toke jeta katina samsare. So there to control, very difficult in the material world. So that is the first verse. And the second verse is much easier. Okay, so quickly, the official translation I have here of that Sharira Avidya verse is, oh my brothers, Bhaire, this material body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses are a network of paths to death. Somehow we have fallen into this ocean of material sense enjoyment. And of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and uncontrollable. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. Yes, and translations often are like loose translations, but the translations all the same, so we get it. Sharira avidya jodendra indriya tahe kal jive fele vishaya sagare tarmade jiva ati lobamoy sudurmati takijita katina samsare. Okay, and maybe some point here we can have this in the chat box. So, and if you don't have it, I can give it again with the word by word, so that we can all keep this consciously in our mind over the next few days. so that on our Sunday, some of your Saturday evening, our Sunday morning, then we can each be like flowing that, yes, I know every word and I can feel the prayer as we say it. Maybe Praneshwari can find that for us.
Chinmoy just shared the post.
Okay, beautiful. Chinmoy Defu, many thanks. So now the second verse, a little easier in my book, maybe not everybody's book, but Krishna, Krishna, Boro, big, it comes up everywhere, Boro, choto, big, small. So Boro, very common word in Bengali. And Doya Moi, so merciful embodiment, you can say merciful, Doya Moi. So Krishna Bora Doya Moi. Kari Bari, it is simply the verb to do. Jiva, we've already had Jiva, the tongue. Joy, and it's the very fluid spelling, I suppose, but the Bengali, it's J-A-Y. It's the short A, and it's joy. It is victory, joy. We're saying joy all the time, aren't we? Saying victory, joy. So, Kariva, to do, the tongue, victory. Sva prashad, anna, dilo, bai. So, own prasadam. Sva prashad, and anna means food. It means rice, but it means food. This is kind of, in Bengal, food means rice, basically. Sva prashad, anna, dilo, given. Bhai, brother. So it's kind of calling out to our brothers, and include the sisters with the brothers, of course. Swa prashad anna dila bhai. So his own prashad, foodstuffs, he's given, dear brother. So say this anna amrita, this food amrita, tasty, nectar, food tasty, cow, here it has cow in the edition I have, which means eat, but also pow we have, and pow means you have achieved, you have got. So there's very similar meaning. When somebody asks in Navadip, Namat or something, have you taken prasadam? Have you eaten prasadam? The common expression will be ki prasadam piechen, piechen, but piechen is the past tense of the pow, got. Anyway, you've got. So here it's got cow, which means actually to eat. So have you eaten prasadam? Have you got prasadam? So anyhow, so if we do see it written both ways, say anna amrita, cow here, but say anamrita, cow. Radha Krishna. I wonder, if only we actually knew. Okay, anyhow, Radha Krishna in all languages is Radha Krishna. Guna, the qualities, Gau, everywhere when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Gau. Sing of the qualities, the guna of Radha Krishna, guna, Gau. And preme, so with prema, preme. We all know what is prema, at least philosophically. Love of God, with great love, a great joy. Priti is love, but prema is great joy, love. Preme, dako. Here is D with a dot under it. And this is still, after so many years, we are mentioning about this. D with a dot under it. When it comes at the beginning of a word, it's pronounced D, but it's actually the D, which is palatial. From the palate, it means the bit behind the teeth, then that lump behind the teeth. It's that D. But this D with the dot in the middle of a word it's like a R coming from the same place. So here is Dako, Dako, which basically for all of us just sounds like a regular D, Dako. But in the middle of the word is more like a R. And I ask devotees, especially being to Navadip, think of Muri. What do we have for breakfast? Every day, almost, except for Ekadashi, is Muri, the puffed rice. But it's spelt M-U-D with the dot under I. So think of Muri when you see the D in the middle of a word, the D with the dot. But then pronounce. So hence Rara dash, not Radha dash, where Mahaprabhu wandered after taking sannyas. Okay, so Dako, because it's at the beginning of the word, Dako, call out, Dako. Literally means call out, call somebody, and Dako, Dako. So Dako, so what are we going to call? In joy, Preme, Dako, what are we going to call? Chaitanya Nitai. Call out the names of Chaitanya and Nityananda. It's such a happy verse. Krishna, Boro, Doyamoy, Koribare, Jiva, joy. He's given to do for the joy of the tongue. Swa Prasad Anna, his own prasad food, his own prasad rice, Dilo he's given by. Oh, brother. Say Annamrita, cow, or say Annamrita, cow. Radha Krishna, Guna Gao. Radha Krishna, Guna Gao. Preme Dako Chaitanya Nitai. Second verse, very straightforward. Hare Krishna. And now, let me see what's in the chat box. Chinmoy De Prabhu Das to everybody. Gaudiya Darshan post.
Maharaj?
Yes.
I have a question about the D with the dot underneath it. So like, would it be correct to say like, instead of Bengal, Gauradesh?
Gauradesh, yes.
And then, how do we pronounce Gaudiya? Is it Gaudiya?
Gauriya.
Oh, really?
Gauriya.
Wow.
You hear Gurudev saying it. You listen when you next hear a lecture or see a lecture. Gauriya. Gauriya. It is not Gaudiya with that hard D. Rara Desh. Muri. Gauriya Vaishnavas. It's a fact. But we've become used to it being a heavy D. And Jara, in this word, this Sharirara Vijidal, then you see Jara is also the same thing. And by the way, this is a proper transcript here, word by word transcript. From the songbook, then very confusing because the devotee who made it, he's trying to put the sound of the word. So he's making A's, short A's into O's, sometimes and sometimes not. But it makes it very, and not confusing, but it's how do you define an O from an O, etc. So generally everywhere except the songbook, we've got the standard transliteration of the text. So what you've put here is actually a good transliteration for us. Bhaire Sharira Avidya Jala. So Jala, this Jala, it's a trap. Trap. Jara Indriya, Jarindriya, Tahe Kala. Oh, it's got here enemies. See, in the other one, it's got time. This has got the different words. Kala, oh, enemies. I always had it as
As
time.
time.
We've seen it that way. Now for all our scholarly persons. Anyway, let's keep on going. Jive. Kale. So now I'm just looking through the transcript, which was put in the chat box. And we're doing fine so far, except we do have the query about Kala, your enemies. So Jive, Fele, Vishaya, Sagore. Yes. Vishaya Sagore. Then Madhya, Tara, Madhya. Yes, Tara, Madhya. Amongst them amongst Jiva. Jiva, the tongue. And in Govardhan, in fact, the Radha Kund, that is a Jiva Mandir, G-I-H-V-A, the tongue Mandir, the tongue of Giriraj, the tongue of Govardhan, which Raghunath Das Goswami discovered when they were digging a well to get fresh water, and then the stone bled when the workers were digging, and then the shovel, whatever, hit that stone, a big stone, and then the blood came from the stone, and then Raghunath Das Goswami was surprised, and that, excuse me, he identified this as the tongue of Govardhan, and there is a temple. Then that stone was moved to a temple, and that temple is just very near the junction between Radhakund and Shyamakund, and it's called the Jiva Mandir. Hare Krishna. So where are we in our translation? Jive, Jiva. Where are we? Jiva, Ati. What's it? Where are we? Ati, most. Oh, here's what most, but we had very, Ati, Lobhamoy, voracious. Sudurmati, wicked. Jeta, to conquer, to control. Take, it, this. Katina, difficult. Samsari, in this world. Yes, we're doing good there. Little research for Kala, though. Let's see. Now, next verse. Krishna. Krishna, Boro. Oh, you see here, it's got Boro. This is the actual Paka, the correct transliteration. Boro, because it's not not Boro, but Boro. And the D with a dot under it again. Daya Moi, merciful. And Daya Moi is the lady form of merciful. And Radharani, she is collecting and distributing for the public. And again, listening with the devotees here to Guru Maharaj. Then Guru Maharaj explaining how everything, our fortune is coming from Radha, Krishna. And again, wonderful things we hear day by day from Guru Maharaj and from Gurudev. We try to not only try to, we do play recordings, both video and audio. And if there's something that inspires you when you hear or you read, do try to share with others, because if it inspires you, there's a very good chance it's going to inspire others too. And there are so many wonderful, both in the book form and in the audio form, in the video form, so many wonderful things. The good news every day, basically, instead of being within the mundane, negative, destructive things, destroying our faith and devotional mood also, disturbing things. Anyway, I'm on the Doyamoi and Doyamoi, Guru Maharaj was discussing. So Krishna, Boro, Doyamoi. Krishna is very merciful. Jiva. Krishna Bharata, Jiva, the tongue, Jaya. What do we have here for Jaya? Well, it's got Jaya, Kari Bari. Jaya, to conquer. Yes, because it's the to conquer, the Jaya part, and Koribari is the verb part, Koribari, Jiva, Jaya. So to conquer the tongue, the Jiva, Jiva. Then Sva Prasad. What do we have here? Sva Prasad, Anna. Yes, Prasad, Anna, remnants of, and particularly of remnants of food in this case, because Prasad can be cloth and can be other things. And prasad can be other things, not even like the physical things, the mercy of the Lord. So this is prasad, anna, prasadam, food. Pau, here we are. This has got pau here, which is accept. This, say amrita, anna. So say anna, amrita, pau, Radha, Krishna, guna. Where's the guna? Oh, it's come before. This transliteration, or the word by word translation is slightly different order, but to help us understand it. Guna, glories, qualities, we hear this. Radha Krishna Guna Gau, Preme Dakka, Preme Dakka, I've got here. Ha ha, Preme Dakke, Prema. And in the one we are using from the songbook, oh, Dakko is it's another one of these transliteration. Dakko. So, Preme Dakko, Chaitanya Nitai. Let us just read here the translation without the word by word. Oh, brother, the body is a net of illusion, and the material senses are one's enemies. So here it has jala as a net, not as a trap. Okay, similar. Okay, very similar. Oh, brother, the body is a net of illusion, and the material senses are one's enemies. Because it has kala as enemies. Okay. Then they throw the soul into the ocean of mundanity. Yes. Among the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and wicked. Yes. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. Take jeta kotina samsare. Okay, yes, all agreed with the previous translation that we have. I mean, different words, same idea. Krishna boro doyamoy. Oh no, I'm reading English, sorry. Brother, because it does have brother, yeah, bhai on the end of the second line. Brother, Krishna is very merciful. To conquer the tongue, he has given us his remnants, his own remnants. Yes. Accept this nectarian food. Sing the glories of Radha Krishna, and with love call out Chaitanya Nitai. Hare Krishna. So, is there something in the chat box? Oh, there is something in the chat box. Chintamani to everyone. Welcome to our friend Mauri from San Diego. Welcome home, Mauri. Where's Mauri? Okay, Mauri, we see your name. If you like to let us see you in person, we'll give you a hug as well. But I can't hug a non-visible person. Hare Krishna. So, Praneshwari Didi, I'm not sure what you're going to call this number, or even I'm not sure what number of back to basics this is. but this is number 1 or 2 or 3, or maybe 4 or 5. It's a very
This-
early one, repeated or revised or revisited. I'm not sure how you're going to number this back to basics.
It actually is 140
Whoa.
and is honoring Prasādam. That's the
Honoring.
title, honoring Prasādam.
All right. And our Prasādam, while we're here, the Prasādam sloka on Dum Dum Park wall. I'm sure we mentioned this in our earlier discussion of Prasādam. We'll have to visit Dum Dum Park wall. Let's see if I can visit it on my computer.
And there is a contribution from Nirupama on the chat as well.
There's a from Nirupama.
Yes.
She's with us. I mean, I know she's with us. Where's Nirupama? Oh, hello, Govinda, Govinda, Nirupama. You sneaked in very quietly. You came in very quietly. And Kitty Kadamba is with us too. All right, on Facebook. So
Okay.
Nirupama Didi, what's your contribution? I know you're in the kitchen. Have you got some muri for us? With a D, with a dot under. Nirupama to everyone. Of all the senses, tongue is the most dangerous. It is very difficult to subdue it because it is insatiable. Why such a variety of types of prasādam, which is sucked, licked, swallowed, chewed, and drunk? Okay, tell you what, Nirupama Didi, we're going to pass this on straight over to Paramananda Prabhu. Aha, Paramananda Prabhu, this one's for you.
Sorry, Maharaj, what was that?
In the chat, Nirupama in extremely good English, which makes me wonder how she's got such good English in this chat. She's got, because I just mentioned to others, because Nirupama she's learning English. She's not quite yet the master of English, but here we've got very good English. Of all the senses, the tongue is the most dangerous. It is very difficult to subdue it because it is insatiable, ... Then why such a variety of types of prasādam, which is sucked, licked, swallowed, chewed, and drunk? So Paramananda Prabhu.
So the question, why is the variety?
Yes.
The answer is why not? Because we're trying, first of all, it's all connected to Krishna. Besides, our tongue is not just some kind of a hardware. It also has some feelings. It likes to taste something that is licked, chewed, sucked, and whatever, anything. So if we don't engage one of those, then again, the tongue will be out of control. So the bigger variety, the fuller is engagement. And we're talking about prasādam. I mean, really, what is described to honor prasādam and the form of food. And there's a reason why Rupa Goswami puts it in Upadeshamrita, in the verse of Dadati Pratigrihnati Gutyam Apyati Prichati. So Dadati Pratigrihnati can refer to other types of prasādam, exchange, because devotees do not exchange anything mundane. So other types of prasādam can be actual physical remnants. It can be thoughts, something devotees got inspired by, and then they're sharing that. It is also called prasādam, dadati pratigrihnati, giving gifts and accepting gifts. But there is also specifically mentioned bhunte bhojayate, means to honor food, to accept food, foodstuff, because we are humans, so we require that to maintain our body. So Rupa Goswami specifically puts it in there. So it's one of the loving exchanges, but how devotees can love anything if it is not related to Krishna. So automatically, Rupa Goswami doesn't have to emphasize that. Devotees only take prasādam. It's upadeshamritam. It's the nectar of instructions for the surrendered souls. So it's naturally a prasādam. And again, we come to the story of Sanyal, Professor Sanyal. We're not eating, we're honoring, we're serving. So our mood is the mood of service. We're serving the remnants. We're not enjoying, oh, how tasty. We're tasting and enjoying it, remembering that Krishna enjoyed that. And we're thinking that's the ideal. I'm not saying that I am doing that. I'm definitely not doing that. When you're tasting, you will be like, oh, Krishna must have liked it very much. Or, oh, this is so wonderful. He must have liked it even more. So those kind of thoughts have to visit us. So the fuller engagement, the better. The bigger variety we're offering to Krishna. And I mean, are there any limit to offer things to Krishna? He is infinite. So the offerings are also infinite. No matter what you offer, it will be accepted. Yat karoshi, yat ashnasi, yat juhoshi, dadasi, yat tapasisi konte, tat kurusho darpanam. There was a humorous statement by Jajavar Maharaj. Maharaj, this may not be related, but it's kind of related though.
It is related.
Did I tell that story?
Not yet.
It's Goswami Maharaj and Shuddha Prabhu, and they're in Jagannath Puri at the Gundicha. When Jagannath to enter Gundicha Mandir, he's parked in front, and this is the time when all the residents, regardless of their background, even the Muslims, they're bringing something. They have some faith. And we've seen it in India. The Muslim people, they're offering some respect to Krishna. So everybody is bringing. Shabaras, outcasts, meat eaters. So they're standing there and they're just watching. There's Goswami Maharaj and Shuddha Prabhu in early days. And then suddenly they're seeing this figure of a sannyasi, very respectable sannyasi. And then they're recognizing this is Jajavar Maharaj, god brother of Srila Guru Maharaj. And Goswami Maharaj said, he's very sober person, very grave, doesn't really smile easily. So he comes to them and they're offering dandavats, and he said, Prabhu, you're seeing they're offering fruit, vegetable, some dal, sweets, and also some meat is coming. You have seen that? How to harmonize? And they are lost because we didn't know what to say. We're looking at Jajavar Maharaj. And then he says with a straight face, Yat karoshi, Yat ashnasi. Whatever you accept, you offer it to me. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, anyhow. So we are to offer everything to Krishna. Whatever we eat, like it or not. Like sometime I'm offering something that is definitely not palatable. And really I'm thinking the plate is just going to fly from the altar into my face for that kind of offering. But what can I do? This is my situation. I have to offer what I eat, and this is what I eat. What can I do? I mean, it's not meat or anything like that, but something not so tasty, not well prepared.
It's rice crackers, just so everybody else knows. It's
no, Maharaj,
that
is the tastiest thing that I eat. And besides, you can put many things in a rice cracker to make it even more tastier. But yes, so answer to the question is, why not everything have to be engaged in the service of the Krishna? Any taste available in this world have to be, every sense have to be engaged. So it's just a few things that are described, and I think she's referring to Bhoga Arati. It is also described over there, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is also described, and you can see how much emphasis on Prasādam and Chaitanya Charitamrita is inconceivable. You may say, okay, just enough of that. I mean, how many preparations you're going to make? What is the reason? We want to hear philosophy, we want to hear the teachings of Mahaprabhu. Why is this description of food in detail? And by the way, Maharaj, the John Indriya in Prasādam prayer reminded me about one preparation that was made by Damayanti, the sister of Raghava Pandit. And then she puts it in the bags. So Sharira Vidya Jal. So Prabhupada, Swami Maharaj, he also translates, the body is a bag of ignorance. So the jali, they were famous in Chaitanya Charitamrita as Raghavera Jali, the little bags of Raghava Pandit prepared by Damayanti. So one of the translations of Jal is actually a bag of ignorance, like a lump, a bag of ignorance would be, in remembrance to Mahaprabhu's Leela. Anyhow, Maharaj, this is our little contribution.
Actually, a super contribution. And now Nirupama knows such good English. I'm sure she understood every word. You can help her
Yes.
at another time and with the Russian explanation too.
But
Okay,
here's one verse,
Nirupama.
Maharaj. I want to conclude with this verse because I was listening to you and in front of me was Prapanna Jivanamrita. And I was just adjusting, it was falling, and then I flipped the page accidentally, and this verse came up. Vivrita vivida badhi branti vegang agati balavati babapure majato me vidure asharana ganabandhu hakripa kamudindo sakrit akrit avalambam dehi hastavalambam. So it's coming from Srila Rupa Goswami, and it's perfect verse to illustrate whatever we're talking today about. So it is translated and translation by our dear Sagar Maharaj. I am drowning in some remote region of a fathomless, treacherous ocean, the vast sea of frustration, swept by the tide of hallucination. O friend of the shelterless, O benediction moon, please, just once, now lend me your helping hand. So Rupa Goswami's prayer, and Krishna is not just once doing that. He has his hands, infinite hands extended, 24/7, 365, and even more. Maharaj can add extra numbers to those.
Jai, Jai, Jai. Very relevant question, beautiful answer. Hare Krishna. Well, I meant to start with this Sharirara Vijayam. And then we'll continue to another subject matter, which I have also in mind. But we'll have to keep that because now we are already at our 1 hour. And I have to be, unfortunately or not, we've kept busy within a little bit of a time restraint also. But happily, and I hope that this also. So can we have this in the chat box? One thing is, and we can put the URL back. Let's copy and paste that URL. Because I know that if we join after something's posted, we don't see what's in the chat box. So I've put the URL of Sharirara Vijayam word by word back in the chat box. Please do copy the URL and paste it somewhere to keep it, but also visit there and let us all in these next 3 days try to, like, consciously, before we take Prasādam, which I know we are only taking Prasādam. Actually, in the temple, we're very fortunate because really we are only taking Prasādam. Then let us try to be fluent in our mind of what we are saying with the words. Most of us, probably every one of us, can fluently say Sharirara Vijayam, and probably very fast when you're hungry. But let us try to fluently have the meaning in our chanting. Hare Krishna. And then, so this is a little homework for us, as well as the Ukraine devotees who are represented today by Nirupama Devidasi in the kitchen. At 5 a.m. she's been in the kitchen. Just see, there's the evidencia. Oh no, she's in the temple room, sorry. She's in the temple room. Jai. Morning program now is 6 a.m. in the temple room with the songbook. And how many Mahaprabhus are there? Nirupama. How many? 1 or 2? 2 Mahaprabhus still. Mahaprabhu from Kiev is visiting them since the recent Veda Life Festival days. Hare Krishna. All right, dear devotees, I'm sorry I didn't give much of an opportunity. I didn't give any opportunity for you all to give feedback, etc. But Kum Bhagavan Prabhu, Chinmoy Devu, Seva Rupa Didi in Mexico, always happy to have you with us. And Seva Rupa Didi in South Africa, our new generation Seva Rupa Devi. Very happy to have you with us. And Rukmini, our all-time generation Rukmini Devi. And Radha Sundari, maybe in Vrindavan or Govardhan. Sometimes she shows us a little image from the holy places in India. She's born in Vrindavan, Radha Sundari Devi. So she's a very auspicious soul to have with us. Chintamani and Jayadev bringing their friend Mauri who disappeared means from the screen, and to the devotees who are with us on Facebook, Madhava Prabhu and Paurnamasi Diri, the two of you I know are there on Facebook and appreciate your presence, and we're here to serve. We're here to serve you. We're here to serve each of you, and to everyone who may see the recording, because we do know that devotees see the recordings, and we appreciate that you're able to join us in these recordings too. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, Kunkun Didi is showing us.
Hello.
Dandavad. Hare
Dandavad, Maharaj.
Krishna.
This is a very nice friend of Chintamani and Jayadev who just arrived here. Her name is Durga.
Hi.
Durga, but we've met before.
Maybe.
We've met before, I think. Yes, we're a very familiar, happy face. Hare Krishna, Jai.
Jai.
And well done that there's the preaching spirit is in the DNA of Chintamani and Jayadev Prabhu.
Yes, yes.
Jayadev and Chintamani.
Yeah.
So what, like we mentioned earlier, what we find sweet and nourishing, share with others, with other devotees and with the public, with whomever we meet. Tell them about Krishna, Mahaprabhu's direction. All right, appreciate each and every one of you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Bhagavan, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Sri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai, present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki Jai, all the assembled in Gurudev's English devotees ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Nitai Go. So please excuse, I need to leave. You can be together to chant Hare Krishna and be happy.
Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj ki Jai.
Yeah.
Jai.